Welcome back to the heart of the magazine world. Welcome to News Around. In the glittering universe of Turkish celebrity culture, there are moments that transcend mere gossip and become sociological events. We often look at the smiles on the red carpet, the perfectly curated Instagram posts, and the rehearsed interviews, assuming we know the whole story. But every so often, the mask slips. Tonight, we are dissecting one of those rare, electric moments where the polished facade of stardom cracked, revealing the raw human emotion underneath. We are talking about a night that was supposed to be a celebration but turned into a psychological battlefield. Before we dive into the deep waters of Kerem Bürsin's reaction and the shadow of Hande Erçel, make sure you are subscribed to News Around. If you appreciate our in-depth analysis, please hit the like button now, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a breaking story. In the grand theatre of television production, the wrap party is a sacred ritual. It is the designated moment of catharsis, a collective exhalation after months of grueling schedules, sleepless nights, and the immense pressure of ratings battles. For the cast and crew of the series Confrontation, this farewell dinner was intended to be a sanctuary of closure. The project had been a tumultuous journey, facing the harsh winds of criticism and struggling to keep its head above the water in the ruthless ratings race. Yet, despite the external noise, the internal bond remained unbreakable. Kerem Bürsin, the leading man known for his gentlemanly demeanor and professional integrity, viewed this night not merely as an end, but as a testament to resilience. He had forged deep connections with his team, emphasizing brotherhood and solidarity at every turn. It was meant to be a night of nostalgia, of looking back at the hard work with a sense of pride, regardless of the commercial outcome. However, the universe, and more specifically, the relentless machinery of the tabloid press, had a different script written for the evening. While inside the venue, the air was thick with the warmth of camaraderie. Outside, the cold, predatory lens of the paparazzi was waiting. Inside, crew members sat shoulder to shoulder at long banquet tables, their laughter mingling with the clinking of glasses as they reminisced about the challenges of filming in the rain and the exhaustion of late-night sets. Kerem Bürsin moved through this scene like a gracious host, ensuring he spoke to everyone, thanking them individually, his demeanor calm and controlled. He was the captain going down with his ship, but doing so with immense dignity. But as we all know, in this industry, peace is often just the quiet before the storm. As we set this scene, I want to ask you, our loyal News Around family. Do you think the press has a right to ask personal questions at professional events, or should there be a strict boundary? We are curious to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments below. Also, a special shout out to our viewers who support us even further. If you want to help us continue creating these detailed documentaries, please consider clicking the join button next to the subscribe icon. Your support helps us dig deeper into these stories. The atmosphere shifted drastically the moment Kerem stepped out into the night. The transition from the safe haven of the dinner to the chaotic glare of flashbulbs was instantaneous. Usually, these interactions follow a predictable, almost boring pattern: standard questions about the project, generic well wishes, and polite goodbyes. But the journalists waiting that night were armed with ammunition that had nothing to do with Confrontation. They were there for the Hande Erçel factor. The air was already heavy with the static of recent rumors. Hande Erçel, who had recently returned from London, had set the social media sphere ablaze with a cryptic comment regarding her private life, saying, "It's very recent." This statement was like a match thrown into a powder keg, reigniting old fascinations and opening wounds that had barely begun to heal in the public eye. The question that shattered the evening's peace was calculated and precise. It wasn't just about an ex-girlfriend. It was about a complex web of relationships involving onu governatum. The reporter didn't just ask about Hande, they asked about the rumors linking her to the very producer of the series Kerem had just finished filming. This is where the narrative becomes incredibly layered. We are talking about a professional triangle, a past lover, a current producer, and the star actor caught in the middle. When the reporter asked, "What do you think about Hande Erçel being linked to onu governatum, the producer of your recently concluded series?" it was not an inquiry, it was a provocation. It was a test of Kerem Bürsin's patience, designed to elicit a reaction that would sell headlines. And it worked. For a brief, agonizing moment, the mask of the professional actor slipped. The smile that Kerem usually wears like armor vanished. The silence that followed was louder than any shout. It was a heavy, pregnant pause where you could almost hear the gears turning in his mind as he processed the audacity of the timing. His response, when it finally came, was a masterclass in restrained fury. He said, "Everyone has their private life. I'm not interested in other people's private lives. If you have no questions about me, I'll say goodbye, friends." The words were clipped, sharp, and final. There was no room for negotiation, no playful banter. It was a door being slammed shut. But was it anger? This is the question that has divided the internet and sparked a civil war in the comment sections. Observers noted the tension in his shoulders, the hurried pace of his walk, and the way he broke eye contact. One camp argues that this was pure, unadulterated anger, not necessarily at hand, but at the sheer disrespect of the situation. To have a night dedicated to the hard work of his team hijacked by gossip about an ex-partner is a frustration anyone could understand. Others argue that it wasn't anger, but a supreme boundary setting. They suggest that Kerem was simply refusing to play the game, cutting off the oxygen to a fire he didn't start. We want to know who you want to see us cover next on News Around. Are you interested in more deep dives into Kerem and Hande, or are there other stars like Afra Sarıkoglu or Mut Ramazan Demir you want us to investigate? Tell us the names in the comments. And remember, liking this video helps us understand what content you love the most. The ripple effect of this interaction was immediate. Social media platforms transformed into a battlefield of interpretation. Fans of the Hanka era analyzed every micro-expression, claiming that his reaction proved he was still hurting, that the indifference was a facade masking deep pain. If he truly didn't care, one comment read, he wouldn't have been so abrupt. Conversely, his defenders argued that his response was the only dignified option available. This digital invisible front formed instantly, with everyone watching the same video but seeing two completely different realities. The tragedy here is that the intended narrative of the night, the farewell to Karpinti, was completely obliterated. The tears of the crew, the final hugs, the artistic closure, all of it was rendered invisible, buried under the avalanche of tabloid speculation. There is also a whisper from the inner circle, a rumor that adds a melancholic tint to the evening. It is said that after retreating from the cameras, Kerem muttered to a close friend, "Everything has its place and its time." If true, this sentence reveals a man not just angry, but deeply disappointed. It suggests a longing for professional respect, a wish that the sanctity of his work would be honored above the voracious appetite for scandal. It highlights the eternal struggle of the celebrity. The fight to be seen as an artist first and a headline second. Furthermore, we must address the onu guvernatum detail, which is the linchpin of this entire controversy. If the rumors had linked Hande to a random stranger, perhaps Kerem's reaction would have been different. But to link her to the producer of his own show creates a claustrophobic scenario where the personal and professional bleed into one another. It complicates the workplace dynamic and adds a layer of betrayal, or at least awkwardness, to the professional relationship. The reporter knew this. The question was designed to hit a nerve, to exploit a potential conflict of interest and emotion. Ultimately, the real loser of this night was the art itself. A series concluded, a story ended, and hundreds of people lost their jobs as the production wrapped up, yet none of that made the front page. The narrative was hijacked by a romance that may or may not exist, and a relationship that ended long ago. It is a harsh reminder of the nature of fame in the modern age. So, we are left with the lingering image of Kerem Bürsin walking away into the night, leaving the questions unanswered and the cameras flashing in the dark. Was it a moment of weakness, or a moment of strength? Perhaps, sometimes, saying "I am not interested" is the loudest statement one can make. It is a refusal to let the noise of the world drown out your own voice. What is your verdict on this chaotic night? We want to read your theories in the comments section. Thank you for watching this special report on News Around. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and consider becoming a member by clicking the join button to support our independent reporting. Until next time, keep your eyes open, because the news is always around you. Goodbye.